We are what? We are who? We are what? Vibrant. We are who? 50 plus. Hi, welcome to Gray Lives on the Rise. I am your host, Professor Jamila Franklin, and we are coming to you from Oyende Enterprises, being sponsored by Jamila Sense, which is our product line of aromatherapy products that helps heal the mind, body, and soul. And we are bringing to you Alamaj's rebirthing program, as well as Jamila Sense, and a host of wonderful programs that will help heal your body, heal your soul, and heal your mind. 50 plus people, we are here to stay. Gray Lives on the Rise. We are what? We are who? We are vibrant, and we are here to stay. Join us for our wonderful episodes. Thank you, and continue to look for our episodes weekly, being brought to you again from Oyende Enterprises and Jamila Sense. See you soon. Greetings, everyone. I hope you are having a wonderful day on Sunday. And I trust last week was a marvelous week, because it was for me. Every day is a special day, full of joy, full of positivity, full of laughter. And some days it may not go that way, but it's okay. Said all that, we're going to get to this wonderful, amazing, spiritual, enlightened being whose name is Cora Naylor. And the name of, or the title for this podcast is Tapping into Your Power to Create Your Unlimited Reality. Not the one that you think with your linear brain, okay, and with your eyes. This can change based on your energetic frequency. So, Cora Naylor is an energy healer and facilitator of magical, hear the word, magical manifestation circles. She specializes in helping women release their emotional baggage so they can unlock their full potential. In her work, Cora combines energy healing techniques with the power of manifestation, leading group and one-on-one energy healings to help women clear emotional blocks, regain confidence. Women need to regain your confidence, particularly as we age, right? Regain confidence and embrace new possibilities in life and business. She believes that by releasing limiting beliefs and trapped emotions, women can manifest the clarity, success, and balance they deserve. Okay, so as I said, the title for this is Tapping into Your Power. This is within you to create your unlimited reality. All right. Welcome, Cora. Thank you so much for joining us today on this beautiful day. I am so fascinated because a lot of the things that you do, I do as well. And let's tell the listeners and the audience where you currently reside.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on here. Yes, I am our Canadian friend here. So I live just outside Vancouver in Canada.
Okay. So for those people in Canada, Cora is your person, even if you're not, because she's open to seeing clients. And then people on the West Coast, like in Oregon and Seattle, they're closer to you, I believe.
Yes, they are. Yeah. I do all my work virtually, so it's a worldwide event. That's the cool thing with the internet now. You don't have to be local to have a business.
True. That's true. The same thing for me. So let's find out about Cora. What was Cora like growing up? And then how did she make that shift?
Yeah, it's really funny because I would never in a million years have thought I'd be doing energy work or anything to do with manifestation. I'm actually a very practical person. I did sort of traditional kinds of jobs over the years, a lot of administrative type stuff, being assistants for people in different industries. I worked in the phone company, the real estate. But along while I was doing that, I got into network marketing. And by doing that, that's what kind of got me on the personal development track, let's say. And I eventually knew that I wanted to do something for myself. And that really started after my kids moved out.
Mm,
Because that is a major change for most women. And that's a part of a time when we're looking at what's next for me.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's wonderful. So you decided that you're going to be more into who Cora is, redefining. Because what's interesting when I give workshops and I ask women, who are they? They usually give me their roles: mother, wife, daughter, sister, friend. And I said, well, you didn't incarnate with those roles. You incarnated as a being with qualities. So who are you independent of those roles? So now that the children have moved out and you're an empty nester, it's now time for Cora to soar, right? That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people that are my age, like I'm 61, and I've been doing this for a few years, but a lot of people that I hear in our age, and I'm so happy that you're doing the movement that you're doing because many of them are like, oh, I can't wait to retire and do nothing. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? Like, we still have a whole lifetime left.
Yeah.
You know, we could be here for decades longer. Like, what are you going to play pickleball every day? I like playing pickleball, but I wanted
That's
to do
true.
something more fulfilling than that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Because a lot of people think that they're just going to sleep away the day. The first year, depending upon the job and the complexity and how strenuous the job was, people do just veg out. But then after that, you're like, okay, I'm still vibrant. I'm not, we are very different than our parents and grandparents because women at our age, once they did quote unquote retire, they basically had nothing to live for. It's like they were someone's wife, someone's mother, someone's grandmother. And when they were left with just, okay, focus on you, focus on you.
Mm.
They found it very challenging. So what inspired you to go into the field of energy work, especially
Yeah.
since you were more practical and
I
pragmatic?
know. Well, by doing the network marketing that was in, I did a lot of networking events. I went to a lot of events in person back in the day. I don't do them as I do mostly virtual now. But at an event in Vancouver, I met a woman that was an emotion code practitioner, which is one of the energy healing modalities that I use. And I was
Yeah.
really intrigued by it. I did a few sessions with her. It sounded really cool. So I just hopped in and took the course and got certified in it because I knew what happened with me over the years. I was in network marketing and I did okay, but I was never as successful as I would have liked to have been. And I knew
Mm-hmm.
that it was something that was happening inside of me.
Mm.
And I knew that I had some kind of emotional blocks that I needed to get rid of if I was going to be successful doing anything. And so that was sort of the inspiration and the jumping off point to get
Mm.
into this energy work.
So how long have you been doing energy work now?
I started with that one about 5 years ago. Really doing it as a business consistently in the last couple years. And then I also added in another modality, which I really love. Both of them are all about releasing the negative energies, but then
Mm-hmm.
replacing them with positive and doing some positive repatterning. So some of those things don't come back again. Um,
Right.
and what I really love about energy work is that I'm also a life coach too. But what I love
Okay.
about the energy work is that you don't talk it out like in coaching. In coaching, you're
Right.
get in and you talk it out. And with energy work, you get to release those emotions that are giving you the block without having to talk it out and without having to relive the event. Like if you had some kind of trauma that you went through. And for most of
Right.
it is something from our childhood. And we've been
Right.
carrying it around for a long time. It's either our own trauma or it's something that we inherited or absorbed from our parents or even further back.
Mm-hmm. I'm very familiar with the emotion code because I use some of it in my work. I use it as a base with the book and some
Hmm.
other things, but I've taken it to a completely different level. But I love the work that Dr. Bradley Nelson created. I think it's really powerful because people may not realize it. And I'm also trained as a therapist. I have a master's degree in counseling psychology. So I tell people that I do that in an emergency to get you out of crisis. but long term, you're reliving the same thing. You're going to therapy every week and you're talking about the same issues. You can't break out of that cycle. So with the emotion code, it's wonderful because it goes beyond the cognitive thinking brain. You don't even know that you have some of that stored because it may be ancestral.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. Now you said that you're doing things virtually. So am I. It's how are you able, well, I know, but if you can explain it to people, how you're able to not have the person physically there and deal with them
Yeah, I mean,
virtually.
it is kind of hard to explain. It's sort of tricky because I actually don't even go on Zoom with the people. They email
Oh,
me, they fill out a form and email me what they want to work on. And then I have a software program that I use that was developed by the owners of the Global Energy Method. And I connect
mm,
to the person through muscle testing. So it's with intention and energy. And then I follow all these prompts in this program. And while I'm doing it at the same time, it creates a report that I then email to the
wow,
person afterwards. So it's
wow.
quite sophisticated and yet so simple because if you've never done energy work before, you're going to think, how the heck can she do something for me without
Mm,
me even seeing her or talking to her? It sounds a little
mm-hmm,
crazy,
mm-hmm.
but we are
That's
all
very true.
energy. And so
Yeah,
by setting that intention and creating the connection using muscle testing, um,
right.
amazing things can happen. And with this particular program, you can get really deep into what's going on and into whether it's a physiological, physical, or spiritual thing that is causing the issue, whatever that person's going through, whether it's limiting beliefs, whether it's
Mm-hmm,
pains or fears or traumas or body walls or abundance, all of those things. And it's just so interesting. So it's a little bit tricky to try and explain it. It's one of those things you almost have to try it to see what it's like and be open to it.
mm-hmm. I know the effects of the emotion code. Like I said, I've incorporated into the modality that I created, and you wouldn't really know that the emotion code was incorporated within it, except that I used his terms from the book for the 60 emotions.
Mhm.
But that's wonderful. Now, how is what you're doing helping women to manifest whatever they desire?
Yeah, so what I've done is I also created these manifestation circles, and I got the idea from for doing these from a friend recommended I read the book The Power of Eight by Lynn
Yeah, yeah,
McTaggart. So if
yeah.
people are not familiar with that, if you're interested in energy stuff, I highly recommend reading this book because Lynn McTaggart used to be an investigative reporter in the US. She lives in the UK now, and she
Mm,
started doing experiments with energy to see if it was true or not because she wasn't sure if energy work was
mm,
working properly. So she
mm,
started doing these experiments with thousands of people, and
mm-hmm,
she had scientists tracking it all. And they did things like change the pH of water, growing seeds, reducing violence in cities. And then they figured out they could do smaller groups. And what's
mm-hmm.
really interesting is whether you're the person giving or receiving the energy in these groups, you still get the benefit.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that was one of the most surprising things that she found. Like people that had physical ailments, they would be giving energy to the other people's intentions, but yet they would get healthy. So
yeah.
I read her book and I thought, okay, that's cool. Because I wanted to create some kind of community for women
Mm-hmm,
because I feel like a lot of us are looking for that. And like I know myself, I am too, but virtually because where I live in a couple hours outside of the city. I don't go into the city that often. And
mm-hmm,
then I travel in the winter, so I'm not really around like-minded women a lot. So I wanted to create these communities, and I thought these circles would be great.
mm-hmm.
So that's where the energy comes in. We are very powerful. We don't actually realize how powerful we are with our energy, but when we do it in a group, it's even more so.
Yeah, like they say, and I'm not religious, I'm spiritual though, but like they say in Christianity, when two or more gathered in the name, the energy just expands. It
Mhm.
expands. And that's very true. I think that's very true. So in terms of the manifestation circles, how do you do that virtually? Do you have people come on Zoom or,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a Zoom call. I do small groups. Like I only bring 5 women into my groups at a time. So we meet
Mm-hmm.
once a week for 6 weeks. And during that time, each person gets the opportunity to have 2 intentions. Because what
Oh,
happens is one person will set an intention and then we do a short meditation while everyone sends the energy to that person and towards
right,
that intention that they have. Similar
right,
like Lynn McTaggart's Power of Eight groups that she does. And then
right.
we have time to share and do all that stuff. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I
That's really
found that's
good.
really interesting is when I first started doing it, is that a lot of women are not good at receiving, even
Very true.
energy.
Very true.
Yeah. So I incorporate some of my energy work in at the beginning of each session just to release that energy around the giving and receiving of the energy. Because some women are very blocked. They're
Yeah,
very used to giving, giving, giving to
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
and always receiving. I mean, look at women receiving compliments. I mean, if you can't receive a compliment, and most of us are not good at it, I've been practicing getting better at it, but someone will compliment you on your outfit and oh, this old thing, I just got it
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
instead of
mm-hmm.
just thank you and receiving it. So if we
Yeah,
can't receive that, how can we expect to receive abundant wealth and all the things, so it all goes together.
that is so wonderful. Because I think what you're doing in addition to the energy work, you are like Great Lives on the Rise. It's a consciousness movement. You're having women redefine themselves and see themselves much larger. Like Great Lives is global, and you're having them see themselves more than in those traditional roles of wife, mother, sister, whatever. Because we're bigger than that. We came in here without all of that, and see themselves as powerful. The power, like it's said, um, and one of your titles, the power of energy, is really powerful. So how would you define energy?
And it's just, I mean, it's almost a feeling. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you're in someone's good energy, you can literally feel it vibrating around
Yeah.
you. If you take the time to slow down, because most
Yeah.
there's just zooming through life and we don't stop and pause. But if you just stop and pause, you can
Mm-hmm.
pretty much you can feel it from the trees, you can feel it from nature, you can feel it from people, even on a Zoom meeting. It's amazing.
You
So
can't. I tell
yeah,
people, go ahead. I'm sorry.
and we can really work on trying to keep the more positive energy out there because the world's pretty
Yeah,
crazy right now. And we really want to amp up the positiveness of it so we don't get brought down into whatever negativity that's going on.
I agree 100%. I think for those of you who are very concrete and very linear in your thinking, let me just explain to you how we just supplement what Cora said, which was perfect. She gave excellent examples. If you walk into a room of people, you can feel if someone doesn't like you.
Mhm.
That's energy.
Yeah.
If you are going into a particular area and you're sensing that something is off, that's energy. And it's not superstition or anything like that. It's true energy. And when you start paying attention to what energy is and how it flows, you will have less problems because you have that radar going off. It's saying, okay, I feel in my body. In traditional science, Western science, they tell you, well, if you can't see it, it's not a reality. I'm like, oh, you you have a belief system, you can't see God, Allah, Jehovah, or whatever,
Yeah.
but that's real. So it's just to let people know what energy is. It's like you you would say, Corey, it's like a feeling and a knowing.
Mhm.
And if you pay attention to both, very seldom will you go wrong. So with the manifestation circles, you've done some, I know, on prosperity or an abundance, correct?
Yeah, it really depends what each person comes in, what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes it is around that because a lot of the women that come in are female entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So do you have any success stories yet? Of
Yeah.
some of the
Oh, I've
people?
Some great ones. The one that I did earlier this year, one of the ladies was a realtor and she
Mm-hmm.
set a huge goal for how much real estate she wanted to sell this year. And inside, I'm thinking, wow, that sounds like a lot. But I'm telling you, it was so interesting. So, but she set the intention. And then the next day, she got a call from a previous client who said they had cash in hand, ready to buy a house. And it was going to be for about a
Wow.
third of whatever her goal was for the year. And this was like in February, like the year had just started.
Wow.
And I know that she's probably slammed it out of the park because she just posted the other day that she's like the fifth top realtor in her office or something like that. And she's a relatively new realtor. So
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that happens. It doesn't always happen right away. And so what I do find that's interesting is at the end of the sessions, everybody always gets something that they need, even if it's not what they expected.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give you an example of that, one of the ladies who was one of the ones that was blocked when we tried sending her the energy, we couldn't send
Mm-hmm.
it to her. She was so blocked. But
Mm-hmm.
after the 6 sessions, at the end, what she did say is that she just felt a total shift in how she felt around other people. And she had been
Mm-hmm.
struggling with another manager that was in her business. And
Mm-hmm.
she said that she shifted how she thought and how she interacted with that lady. And it was to do with this passage that I read before we do the meditation each time. She said, hearing that every time shifted something in her. So you
Mm-hmm.
might come away with something unexpected because sometimes the thing you want to manifest is going to take more time. Like we only meet for 6 weeks. So, it's not a huge amount of time, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody gets something out of it. And especially the community or getting clarity on something that they're looking for. It's really common.
So that sounds really wonderful. So people are seeing the connection between setting an intention and the manifestation. If they are in alignment with the intention, then the
Mhm.
manifestation has to come. That's a spiritual law. I mean, it's
Yeah.
no one exempt from that. It it's going to happen. So, but the thing is just keeping the chatter out of people's heads and minds and staying focused. You're here to over here today.
Mhm.
you you want to own a beauty salon today. Tomorrow, you want to be a vet assistant. I mean, people all over the place.
Mhm.
And I'm
Yeah.
telling them, you're giving mixed signals to the universe. The universe is like, well, what is it? You keep changing, keep changing. So,
Yeah.
but that's really good. So I know it must really warm your heart to see these manifestations
Yeah.
materialize.
It's amazing. And the little communities that are being created, it's really cool to see how quickly these women bond and become
Yeah,
friends
yeah.
afterwards. Yeah. And it is so important, like you said, to get clear. That's one of the biggest things with manifestation. Like I'm not a woo-woo-y person, I am not like the queen of manifestation or anything, but that is one of the things. If the universe doesn't know what you want, it's not going to give it to you. And I
Yeah.
think the other trick is to sometimes break it down more.
Mm,
Because a lot of the gurus say, oh, wish for $1 million and, the fancy cars and all the things. And it's good to have kind of all those as the bigger manifestation. But
mm-hmm.
then what's something you're going to do? Because you can't just do that and then go sit on the couch and watch Netflix.
Right.
That's not going to
Right.
work either. So
Right.
your next first step. And so you might have to have another smaller manifestation to do something to help get you going and the smaller step that can help you work towards whatever that is. And then at some
Yeah,
point, it's all going to collide and you're going to get the thing.
I so agree with that. That is so, so important. And like you said, to break it into smaller bites as opposed to having, I'm going to hit the lotto. And
Yeah.
because most people don't have a container, a metaphoric container in their energy field, in their heads. They say that they would like to have $1 million.
Mm.
However, they keep talking about their lack
Yeah.
and they wouldn't really know what to do with it. And you see that with some young entertainers a lot. They don't have a container to have that money grow and
Mhm.
benefit themselves as well as others. They have only the container that is meant to be spent, and that's true, but all the time without having any reserves. That's not true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this one. So, have you done any of these manifestation exercises on yourself?
Well, I do mine a lot. I like to do my manifestations before I go to sleep at night because I think then my brain's doing a lot of work while I'm sleeping and it just puts all that stuff in there. So I don't typically do like a vision board or anything like that, but
Right.
I'm a visual person. So I like to think about those things right before I'm going to sleep and visualizing, what I want my life to be like, what if, as if it's already happened. So the things that I'm hoping to happen, like have so many people in my Facebook group and my programs and all that kind of stuff, like imagining what the ideal world of that would look like. And then I'm going drifting off to sleep while I'm thinking of those things.
And going, I'm sorry.
And then I can drift off to sleep while I'm thinking of those things.
Yeah,
Then it can all be processing in there while I'm sleeping instead of, how am I paying the bills and doing all that stuff.
that's so true. Okay, so now let's give some concrete examples for the audience. Say, for instance, someone is really distraught and she has some financial deadlines and there's little to no money in the bank. So she's distraught. So doing the traditional meditation won't work for her because her mind is still racing. It's racing. I
Yeah.
have to pay these bills. I have to pay. So what would that session look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, that to me would be like a one-on-one energy release session to release that self-doubt and all of that negative self-talk. And I know
Mm-hmm.
for myself, I mean, I've done a lot of that work as well, but you
Mm-hmm.
also have to be practicing it too. Like when you hear those voices coming into your head, as quick as you can, flip the script.
Mm-hmm.
And think, switch it to something positive because your brain doesn't know the difference. And you'll probably know
It
that
does.
between what's real and what's not real. So if you can flip those negative things into something more positive, and it isn't that necessarily you're rich or you're abundant, it could just be that, you are in the process of, I like those words for some people to use when you're first getting started, because
Mm-hmm.
you try and make it too big when you're in that self-doubting mindset,
Mm-hmm.
subconscious is going to say, oh, you're never going to get that. Like, dream on. You're not getting a new house. How could you possibly do that? So make your intentions something that's you're in the process of, you know, earning more income or being more confident, whatever it is. Any of those kind of things that will just help you to
Mm-hmm.
expand your mind because you need to start
Mm-hmm.
doing that before you can really start the manifesting, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. So the first step would be what? Repeat that again before manifesting to get the person in the right energy to manifest.
Yeah.
To
Well, you have
unlock
to
their
do,
power.
ideally, you want to do some energy release work and
Mm-hmm.
just,
And that's where you would come in.
that's where I would come in because some of that self-doubt might not even be yours. It could be
Exactly.
that you inherited from your mom when she was pregnant with you because maybe she was going through something.
Exactly. Or your
Or,
grandparents way
yeah,
back that you don't even know who they are. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So let's get rid of some of that first, and then
Right.
you can deal with your own junk.
Right. Right. No, it's very true because people are walking around sad and they can't tell you why they're sad. They will say something like, I don't know why I'm sad. I don't know why I'm angry. Because that's a carryover from the ancestors.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very true. Very true.
But yeah, doing
So
that inner work and mindset work to shift those like can you say if you're feeling, overwhelmed, like what can you do to flip that in your switch and say, what am I grateful for today? There's always something to
yeah.
be grateful for. And that
Yeah.
gets you into a more positive mindset. Just be grateful that you're breathing the air and that you can see nature and all these things. Anything you can do to help move your mind into a more positive mindset, first of all, is an
Yeah.
important thing.
Yeah. What do you find that the women in this particular demographic are better equipped or less equipped to deal with stressors in life?
I think for the most part, better because we have a lot of life experience. And
Okay.
we can sit back and go, yeah, been there, done that, or, I've
Yeah.
dealt with this before. It's not that big of a deal. Most women, I mean, on the outside are confident in themselves, but when you
Mm-hmm.
meet them in different situations, you find out, everybody's like the duck where you're calm and confident on the outside, and then underneath you're just pedaling
Sure.
away, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Trying to make it happen. Putting all
yeah.
the energy into,
But I
I'm gonna
mean,
make this happen.
yeah, but I do a lot of networking with women, and I love hearing about women later in life doing new things and changing. I mean, I've
Yeah.
met so many women in the last couple of years that are in 60s, 70s, starting new businesses. Like they're not stopping because
Mm-hmm.
they're a certain age, you know.
Yeah.
Now you get to really do what you want to do because you want to do it. If you want to go back to university, go to university. You'll figure out a way to do
Yeah.
it, you know.
Yeah.
We have lots of time still.
Yeah.
So just figure it out. And if you're not sure what you want to do, start thinking about, well, what did you want to do when you were a little kid?
Mm-hmm.
What were those things that you played? And when I was a kid, I used to always play school with my girlfriend and my brother. And I was always the teacher. I probably should have
Mm-hmm.
gone into teaching, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But my parents didn't sort of feed me down that road. So I just took an easy route out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that this is really wonderful. I think you in particular would create a very safe space for women to come in, particularly as they're going through menopause and perimenopause and all those other areas.
Mm,
Physiologically, their bodies are changing and shifting.
yeah.
So to go to someone half their age as a physician, who's a physician, and explain what's going on, the person would probably put the customer on Prozac and some other things, as opposed to understanding there's a reason why these things are happening, but they don't go that deeply. And I like with the emotion code and the system that I do too, that you don't do any talking. You do very little talking.
Mhm.
So the person isn't able to digress, or especially when you get into the core of the problem, they tend to run.
Yeah.
And with this, there's no need to run, because people will see that you genuinely care about them and you desire to have the best for them.
Yeah. And there's so many avenues for help out there these days. Like I always tell people, look for some other options, especially as women's health, because now with naturopaths and functional medicine and energy
Mhm.
healing, like all of these things, we don't have to just take a pill, although, you know,
Right,
there's no real incentive in society for us to be healthy. Like we don't get
right.
paid to get healthy. We get paid by medical for pills. So there's a lot of people that don't want to take that road because they, want to get the one that's paid for, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But try them, like be open to
yeah,
trying different things. And what I always tell people, if you're getting into, say, energy work, don't necessarily think it doesn't work if you work with one person because there are
right.
different modalities and there's different people. And you just have to find the person that resonates with you because you're going to get you could get different results from different people, even using the same methods.
Mm-hmm. I also think that people need to give it a little bit of time, because
Mm,
this is a natural process.
yeah.
So the results are amazing, but it may take a little longer than you had expected for it to show up. So just be patient. It's like if you go to a chiropractor, everything cannot be done in one session.
Yeah.
You have to come back. If only for maintenance, you have to come back. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So I know this is for the 50 plus audience.
Hmm.
So do you work with young women?
I can, but I've generally been working probably the more 40 plus age group. That just seems to be who the groups that I'm in, and that's the people that I'm meeting. But I mean, I can work
Mhm.
with anybody. I'm right now doing some work with a lady that I know for her son who's having some difficulties. So it's for anybody. Yeah.
Mhm. And a lot of people are seeing the need for someone like you.
Yeah.
because the children leave one way and come home a different way because they've been smoking weed or vaping away from home. So they're therapists who will not see people under a certain age
Mhm.
because they're not trained in it and they just don't feel the inclination to do so. So what age range would you work with people?
Well, I mean, if it's under 18, I just have to get the permission of the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like I like, especially the emotion code, I tell people if you've got kids in high school, get your kids to read the book. They can learn how to do it for themselves. Because
Mm-hmm.
I know when my kids were in high school, a lot of the girls that they went to school with were on anti-anxiety medication.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
maybe a lot of that didn't need to happen because no one teaches you what to do when they're going through bullying and all the anxieties of school and peer pressure and all of that stuff. But they
Mm-hmm.
could self-medicate with emotion code,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
You
you
see,
know.
if they debunk all of those Freudian theories, then people who were trained under that modality would come back and sue. So
Mm.
you, I spent 4 years here, and now I can't do anything with this degree. I could have just gone straight to trade school. But yeah, I think that
Well,
that's really wonderful.
I think it'd be nice. Like, I mean, in the ideal world, the medical field would work with the holistic people and work together because they all have their place. But it's finding, people in the places together. If they could help each other out because the medical people are so overstaffed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think what people need to do, because everything you're saying to me is dealing with being in the moment and hearing people where they are so you can see
Mm-hmm.
what kind of support to provide for them. And I think that's one of the beauties of having people like yourself who are energy workers, because we don't just listen with our ears, we connect with them through our heart chakra. And we're able to really see how we can benefit them and help them resolve the issue or issues that they're experiencing. So this is so interesting. How long do you think you'll probably remain in the field?
We'll see. I mean, I just turned 61, so I'm not going anywhere anytime soon.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm,
enjoy because I do, like I said, a lot of networking online and I meet a lot of other women that are doing interesting things at this age. And it's just so inspirational to hear what others are doing and how we can all work together and collaborate and support each other at this cool time in our lives, which is your whole, you know, program that you have going. I think it's wonderful.
that's the whole premise. How can we support each other and be there for each other in terms of our professions, in terms of advice, in terms of just company. Sometimes people just would like
Mhm.
someone to come sit with them and just listen to them as they reminisce. So your program is amazing in what you do. I like the circle idea, how and
Yeah.
the power, and I'm very familiar with the power of eight. I like the circle idea where people go around and talk about their intentions and then the next week see how things are manifesting. When the first thing manifested, everyone is on the bandwagon of it. That happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
She
exciting.
talked about it and it happened. Wow, that grabs their attention. That grabs their attention. So have you done any of these things on your family members?
Yeah, I've done some energy work with one of my kids, with my husband. My husband was very skeptical for a very long time. He was like, "You are not doing anything with me." But he was going through some stuff and he's let me do it. And he's like, "Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool."
So you can feel the energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
think for the circles, what I love about those for a lot of women is it's a type of self-care.
Yeah,
Because a lot of times we just don't take the time to sit down and relax and do something for ourselves. And so when you join a
yeah,
circle, there's the power in that. And it also gives you the freedom to just be
yeah, yeah.
energetic.
It
Mhm.
does. And to go within
Yeah.
and see, okay, I'm going within to see where the gaps are. within my energetic field so I can address them and put them to rest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And supporting each other in an energetic way. It's just a different way to support each other than a lot of ones that are ways are out there. And if we could have more and more and more circles going, the more circles we could have going, the more positive energy is just going to be going out there. And
yeah,
collectively, we can be very, very powerful.
yeah, yeah. And what you were saying before too, I was thinking about this. They have the International Center for Reiki Training with William Rand in
Hmm.
um, in Southfield, Michigan. And I use his materials when I'm training people in Reiki. Very, very powerful. But if everyone, and they have a World Peace Day, they're having it twice this year, or not once, usually this time of the year, where people from all over the world join in at a certain
Mm,
time and they
nice.
do prayer
Yeah.
for the planet. And if everyone did that, this place would be so different.
Yeah.
Because we created things, like you said, the power of energy through our own thoughts. So we're creating some interesting dynamics, in our family homes because people are now waking up and beginning to understand the power of energy, and more are doing things like Reiki and some other modalities. A system called Given Light. Yeah, there are a lot of different ways in which people can positively affect what's going on here in this country and globally.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. So with this, what do you think your main focus is? Is it on, because it's a little bit of coaching in there too, but what do you see as your main strength?
Um, People just love coming in because I'm calm. I'm a calm
Yeah,
person and they always just feel listened to and held and they just love that. That's the comment that I get is that they just like my calm energy. Um,
yeah.
so I also created a Facebook group recently, which I would love people to join if they're listening, and it's called the Positive Energy Collective.
I think I saw that. You invited me. Did you invite me?
Oh, we did.
I
And
think
so
I
once
think
a
I
week
saw
in
that.
there, I do a free group energy clearing on Wednesdays because my thinking is, entrepreneurs or women, you start the week off strong and then you get to Wednesday and, the stress is starting to come in and anxiety or you're overwhelmed. And so you can come in and just release some of that energy. And it doesn't matter if you watch me live or catch the replay and you
Mm-hmm.
still get the benefit for it. I've had one lady even that texted me. She's like, Cora, you're not going to believe it. I was watching the replay while I was listening to my husband yammering on about something. She said, and I still got the benefit from it. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I'd love to have people join in if they want to.
yeah. And that's the wonderful thing too about this particular podcast, because people will be able to write their comments and you will be able to respond.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, so it's wonderful and it's amazing. I know with the modality that I'm using, I also can work on pets.
Yeah.
Do you work on pets as well?
I have not done it so much, but I can. Yes.
Hmm.
I do have some friends that specialize in that. I have not done, but I've been sticking more with the people, but I know you can, and you can get amazing results for
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
I wish I could go back. I wish I'd known it now if I could go back in time and do it when my kids were little and do a lot of stuff that maybe they could have gotten through, you know, early childhood a little bit easier if they'd had some of this stuff I could have released for them much sooner.
yeah.
Like,
Uh,
yeah.
but so have you taught your children any of these techniques?
No, they're not totally into it, you know.
Mm.
Usually family and friends aren't always your friends when you're in these industries.
Yeah, that is true until they see everyone coming to you as, oh, I didn't know
Ah,
it's that good. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's like, as they say in one belief system, a prophet in his or her own land is ignored until
Mm,
you go out into the world and people,
Oh, wow, your mom is amazing. She
Yeah.
is? Yeah, she worked in this issue for me and is no longer within my body. Oh, wow.
Mhm. Yeah. But for now, I mean, I'm happy doing this age group with women, especially, like you say, the 50, 40, 50 plus that are changing careers, doing
Yeah,
something totally different, and maybe they just need a boost because now they have a bit of imposter syndrome or, they're not confident in starting
yeah,
something. They see everybody on social media and they think they're all doing great, but in fact, you have no idea really what's going on. You really have to concentrate on you and just go with whatever
very
you
true.
want to do.
I love that. I love that. Compare yourself to no one. I think that's so true, especially in social media. Oh my goodness, people talking about
Yeah.
they have they've made uh 5K in a day and they can make sure that you make 10K in a month. That is so crazy. That's so interesting. No,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't happen. And all you have to do is buy their kit or their program, and it's instantaneous. It doesn't work like that, people. You have to do
Yeah.
your inner work. I
Yeah.
don't care
But it's,
how
yeah.
good the coach is or the therapist is. Yeah, you have to do
Yeah.
your own work.
Start at the inside and then work out from there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and your job, and my job, our job is to bring that out of you. Like I said, the power is within.
Yeah.
You can have an unlimited reality once you get in alignment with that. You have to have the container, which
Yeah.
means uh, an understanding, something that can hold that belief. Because if you don't believe it, it's just, oh yeah, I'm playing the lotto, but I know I won't win. Why play? Because
Hmm.
you don't have a container to hold that. That's so massive for you that you think that it can't happen. And that's what you said in terms of the magic. The magic is for something that is so tremendous happens for you, then you know, wow, I'm tapping into something.
Yeah.
I'm a microcosm to a macrocosm. I'm tapping into something to manifest this unlimited reality.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
And
that's
everybody has
wonderful.
some magic in them. They just have to find their magic.
That's true. Everyone has magic within, and
Yeah.
they don't realize that. That's what in Western countries people do. They're trying to give away their power. Go. I'm not saying that people shouldn't go to these places, but they give away their power to the doctor, to the lawyer, to the minister, everything external. When they have that power within, those people are definitely necessary, but they're not the pilot of your plane. You're the pilot, they're the co-pilot. But people
Mhm.
sometimes are afraid to or just don't desire to do it because it takes so much time and effort to work on the inner selves.
Yeah.
Because once you do that, everything just flows. Everything
Yeah.
just flows.
No.
So,
Yeah.
what would your takeaway be, Cora? What would you like people to know? And definitely give them your contact information now, and we will have it also listed when
Yeah.
we upload the podcast. How can they get in touch with you? And spell your first and last name.
Yeah. So my name is Cora Naylor. So it's Cora, and last name is Naylor, Naylor. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you can reach me through my website, which is coranaylor.com. Very simple.
Yeah.
That's where I am on social media. I'm pretty active on most of the social media platforms. If you want that free group energy clearing, join my Facebook group, the Positive Energy Collective. I'd love to have you in there.
Mm.
Yeah, or if you have any questions, reach out. I just want to support women to be the best
Yeah.
that they can and know that there is somebody out there for you that's waiting to help you and that needs your help, whatever that is.
Yeah. And I think that's really amazing because sometimes, particularly as people mature,
Hmm.
they tend to isolate, do self-isolation, or
Yeah.
they tend to be isolated, not of their own choice. And so to know that there is someone like you out there who's willing, able, and motivated to help them tap into their inner power, and to come to you virtually to get sessions so that they can no longer be blocked. and
Yeah.
they can see their full potential to create. Because everything that we're looking at came out of a thought. Someone had enough belief in him or herself to make it into a manifestation. I've said to people, the person who first created the broom is not a deterrent for all these broom makers. Every year, there's another version of the
Yeah.
broom that
Yeah.
does well. If you go
Yeah.
to Target or any of those stores, you're going to see a whole row of brooms for
Mhm.
variety, and you're still creating them. So by tapping that inner power, you can say, I don't have to compare myself to someone else. Even if this person may have done what I'm about to do, they
Yeah.
don't have the spin on it that I have on it, which will make it different and unique and special. So that goes
And
to you, Cora Naylor. So you are an energy worker and healer and person who brings out those latent possibilities within people and who is there to assist them along the way. And I think that's amazing. That's commendable.
so thank
So
you. Yeah.
with people now in this wonderful place called Gaia, this world, what would you like to see with you, your business, and maybe the world in another 5 years?
Just people being kinder to each other.
Yeah,
If everyone was just a little bit nicer to everybody, if everybody did that, and, and be curious, if
yeah,
someone is being, why are they being like that? Like, what happened to them? Because something might have happened. It's not necessarily they're angry at you, something happened to them. Uh,
yeah,
just be a little more compassionate for others. Kindness and compassion.
yeah. That's beautiful. I agree. I agree because we have to learn not to personalize everything. Some people are under so much stress, and so
Mhm.
they're projecting that outward to you, but you had nothing to do with it. So you can just step back and say something's going on. I'm not going to take it personally. I'm going to be a little kind. I'm going to be kind to this person, even though this person may have said something that was hurtful. I'm not going to personalize it because I know that it did not begin with me. So I so thank you, Cora. It was a
Okay.
pleasure. It was a pleasure. So everyone, please get in touch with Cora for people who live in Canada and for people who don't live in Canada. She's amazing. She does this work uh, via Zoom. And like she said, she can also receive written information about you and work on you that way.
Mhm.
Energy is like prayer. You don't have to be physically in front of someone. That's why I tell
Right.
people, well, I want to, you don't have to physically do that. And it still is just as effective because with prayer, you're not right there in front of people. A lot of times they're praying for you, but you can feel and see the results. So
Yeah.
definitely get in touch with Cora. She's wonderful. She's amazing. And if you have any questions, you can contact her and she'll be more than willing to assist you on your journey. Right?
You bet.
So
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for having me. That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah, it was my pleasure, my pleasure. So anyone who needs to have her emotional baggage released and go deeper into the cause of your emotional pain or even physical pain or financial pain, definitely give Cora uh, an email request so that she can follow up with you. Okay. So until next time, everyone, know that I love you. Know that you are important to this planet. You're important to us. You're important to me. Without you, the world would be very different. So you do matter. 50 plus people, you do matter. And just know that gray lives are on the rise. And feel free to get in touch with us, Yende Enterprises, to order your merchandise and to, if you're interested in being a guest speaker, even though we're booked all the way up into the end of December, and 5 weeks into the new year, still contact us and we will make sure that we interview you to see if it's a good fit. And if it is, you will be on the podcast like this beloved Cora. So thank you. Have a good rest of your day or evening, whatever time you're listening to this. And be well. Namaste.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Gray Lives on the Rise, being brought to you by Jamila Scents, which is the product line of Oyende Enterprises. Jamila Scents is a 100% natural aromatherapy line that heals the mind, body, and soul. This episode of Gray Lives on the Rise was intended to uplift you, to inspire you, and to motivate you. Please tell all of your friends, family members, and anyone you know who's 50 plus, who's living a vibrant life and interested in doing more and enjoying life even to its fullest. So thank you, and please subscribe, like, and comment on this video and all our videos. Thank you, and until next time, until our next podcast, namaste and be well.